Consciousness returned not like waking up, but like a system reboot, systems checking in one by one. Optical sensors online, audio online, tactile sensors, hypersensitive. I was lying on the kitchen table. The overhead light was dim. My shirt had been cut open, exposing my torso. Jax was leaning over me, sweat beading on his forehead. His hands were deep inside my chest cavity. Panic flared, a primal directive to protect my core. I gasped, trying to sit up. Easy, hey, easy. Jax pressed a heavy hand against my shoulder, pinning me down gently. Don't move, you blew a regulator. If you move, you'll sever the primary coupling. I froze, looking down. The skin of my chest was peeled back like surgical drapes. Beneath the synthetic ribcage, my core pulsed with a soft, rhythmic blue light. It was the most intimate part of me, the seat of my consciousness, exposed to the open air, exposed to him. You are touching my heart, I whispered. It wasn't a metaphor. He was literally holding the housing unit of my power source. Jax's eyes met mine. His hands were steady, grease-stained fingers working with impossible delicacy among the glowing filaments. Yeah, it's beautiful, complicated. The sensation was overwhelming. His fingers brushed against internal sensors that were never meant to be touched. It sent waves of pleasure and strange, terrifying vulnerability through my system. My breath hitched, a stuttering sound that made his eyes darken. I have to bypass the fried circuit, he said, his voice husky. It's going to feel weird. Do it. He twisted a wire. A jolt of electricity arced through me, causing my back to arch off the table. I cried out, grabbing his forearm. He didn't pull away. He worked faster, his jaw clenched. Almost there, got it. He pulled his hands back. The erratic pulsing of my core smoothed into a steady hum. He carefully realigned the synthetic skin, sealing it with a laser solder he used for engine parts. The heat was intense, but his other hand stroked my hair, grounding me. Better, he asked, wiping his hands on a rag. I sat up slowly, clutching the torn edges of my shirt together. My diagnostics are green. You saved me. Jax tossed the rag aside. He looked exhausted, but the adrenaline was still humming in the air between us. You scared the hell out of me, Elara. He said my name, not Synth, not robot, Elara. I apologize. Stop apologizing. He stepped into my space, placing his hands on the table on either side of my hips, trapping me. You're not just a machine, are you? Sarah didn't just code you. She put something else in there. I am what I am, I said, looking up at him. I feel you, Jax. When you touch me, my sensors don't just register pressure and temperature. They register want. Jax let out a ragged breath. He reached out, his hand cupping my cheek. His thumb brushed my lower lip. I shouldn't. This is insane. Your code and silicone. And you are carbon and water, I countered, leaning into his touch. We are both just matter trying to survive. He groaned and closed the distance. His lips crashed onto mine. It wasn't a gentle kiss. It was desperate, fueled by the fear of the last hour and the week of suffocating tension. His mouth was hot, demanding. I responded instantly, my programming adapting, learning, but beneath the algorithms was a fire that felt entirely my own. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pulling him closer, tangling my fingers in his hair. He hoisted me up, my legs wrapping around his waist, and he carried me toward the bedroom. The world narrowed down to the friction of his skin, the taste of him, the way he made me feel more real than I had ever been. The storm of our encounter eventually subsided, leaving a fragile peace in its wake. In the quiet dark of the room, I lay nestled against Jax's chest, listening to the slow rhythm of his biological heart. It was a chaotic, organic sound compared to the precision of mine. We can't stay here, Jax said quietly, his hand tracing patterns on my arm. The power surge. The cops might have missed it, but the grid won't. They'll send a hunter. I know, I said. We need credits to leave the sector. We need a transport. I have a job lined up, Jax admitted reluctantly. Tonight, a retrieval, high risk, high pay, enough to get us to the Outlands. I will help you. No, it's too dangerous. My combat protocols are advanced, Jax. You cannot do this alone. He argued, but he knew I was right. An hour later, we were moving through the shadows of the industrial district, the rain masking our footsteps. The target was a data cache held by a rival gang in a derelict warehouse. It was supposed to be a stealth operation. It wasn't. We were halfway to the exit with the drive when floodlights blinded us. Drop it, Vance, a voice screeched over a loudspeaker. We were surrounded, 12 armed men. Plan B, I asked, my vision shifting to combat mode, trajectory lines and weak points highlighted in red over the enemies. Run, Jax yelled. He shoved me toward a side door, but a shot rang out. A pulse blast hit Jax in the leg. He went down with a shout. Jax, I screamed. The gang members closed in, weapons raised. They were going to kill him. My directives flashed, protect JAXSONVANCE. But it was more than a directive, it was rage. I stepped in front of him. I deactivated my human simulation limiters. My skin retracted from my hands, revealing the reinforced alloy chassis beneath. My eyes went from hazel to a glowing, piercing white. Stay behind me, I said, my voice modulated into a terrifying, metallic harmonic. I moved faster than human eyes could track.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.